Chosen one, you didn't stumble on this by chance. You were led here. And you know it, don't you? That quiet tug inside you. That fire that refuses to go out. That voice whispering, there's more. You're not here just to watch. You're here because you're different. Because deep down, you already feel it. You're marked for something bigger. This is your moment. The kind of moment that shifts timelines, breaks ceilings, and awakens something ancient in you that the world tried to bury. You're not chasing what everyone else is chasing. You're not here to fit in. You're here to rise, to build, to carry something so much greater than yourself. And let me tell you, what's coming isn't random. It has your name on it. It's not just wealth, it's a mission. It's not just a blessing, it's a blueprint. You're not just being seen, you're being sent. So lean in. Open your spirit. This isn't just another video. This is a key, a signal, a confirmation that you're not crazy for believing you were made for more, because you are. If you feel this already resonating in your bones, claim it now. Own it. You're not here just to observe. You're here to unlock what was always yours. Let's go deep. Let's awaken what's been sleeping. Let's step into the kind of clarity and favor that cannot be denied. Because chosen one, your time isn't coming. It's here. Looking for purpose and peace? Hit subscribe and start the journey. This is not merely an increase in possessions, but the unfolding of a greater plan. The flow of abundance arriving is not an accident, not an accessory to pride, not a trophy for display. It is designed to serve something larger than self, a task, a journey, a horizon that stretches beyond personal comfort. What is being arranged is not just about filling hands with more, but about filling the world with what only you can deliver. These resources are precise, deliberate, and carry a quiet authority. They are not pouring in to decorate a life, but to ignite a responsibility that transcends individual wants. Something sacred has been entrusted, a vision woven through generations, a duty written into the fabric of who you are. Every element is aligning now, tying tangible support to an invisible calling. This is not simply to enlarge what you possess, but to match the scale of what you're meant to accomplish. More reach, sharper tools, wider circles of influence, stronger foundations. All of it arrives because the purpose demands it. With that arrival comes a heavier responsibility, not to hoard, but to create, not to indulge, but to build. Imagine a river swelling not to drown, but to irrigate faraway fields. That is the nature of this moment. What's being given is not random fortune, but intentional provision to sustain many beyond yourself. This is not about appearing fortunate, but about functioning as a source of fortune for others. Make your impact eternal. Join now and be a light in someone's darkness. This pattern of provision does not spring from greed, but from grace. It is not driven by hunger for more, but by readiness to shoulder more. Unlike the world, which chases what glitters and calls it wealth, you move in rhythm with a deeper current, and it brings what you need to the shore at the right time. That is why this abundance won't feel like just an unexpected reward. It will feel like a carefully crafted answer, designed for a specific purpose. It is not here to sculpt a brand, but to craft a legacy. Not for vanity, but to fulfill a vision. This is the kind of abundance that restores broken places, opens doors that were bolted shut, creates avenues where there were only walls. This is the kind of wealth that whispers through future generations, carrying your impact long after your presence. The kind that repairs what was fractured, the kind that reveals that something greater was orchestrating all along. If your heart overflows with divine love, now is the moment to let it shine. Click the super thank you button on YouTube and give $50 or more to help carry God's light to others. Your gift will bless not only your life, but countless others. You are part of His sacred plan. Your kindness may be the answer to someone's prayer. Share your blessings and honor His kingdom. May His grace guide you always. Understand, with this weight comes a mandate. With provision comes obligation. It must be carried with integrity and focus. This is not for ease or escape. It is for execution. You have been watched in seasons of scarcity and proven you would not bow to what you lacked. Now the abundance is released because your spirit can carry it without being corrupted by it. This marks the start of a higher stewardship, These are not just coins or contracts. They are instruments. Instruments to construct what was imagined, to answer unspoken prayers, to redefine the story for those who come after. When the overflow arrives, and it will, remember this, it is not mere currency. It is commission, and you are chosen to complete it. There is a quiet strength forged in those who have stood in empty rooms and still managed to dream. There have been seasons where the ground beneath felt barren, where silence pressed heavy and hope seemed to hide. Nights arrived carrying the weight of unanswered questions, not because belief had faded, but because the means seemed to vanish. Hands learned to stretch what little they held, to craft joy out of fragments, to walk into each day wearing courage like a borrowed coat. Yet know this, deprivation was never destined to claim you. Scarcity was not stitched into the design of your life, but the journey through it shaped something deeper than mere comfort could ever offer. Those lean years were not a verdict against you. They were the forge where resolve was tempered and inner wealth uncovered. It was never punishment, but preparation. That difficult stretch wasn't the final chapter. It was the sharpening of instincts you'd one day need to build beyond yourself. Endurance revealed what entitlement never could. The ache of wanting revealed strength that excess could never teach. The absence of abundance taught the art of appreciating its arrival without being owned by it. In those hollow spaces, the ability to listen grew clearer. Decisions became deliberate. Trust became something unshakable. Learning to navigate storms without a map equipped you for seas far larger. Such lessons do not evaporate. They become anchors when the tides turn. Now, trust has been proven. Movement without resources has been mastered. So when resources arrive, they will not rule the heart that has already learned how to move without them. The lean times sculpted discipline, strategy, and discernment, qualities that excess alone could never have gifted. They enrolled you in a quiet academy of resilience, not to keep you there forever, but to ensure you could guide others out of the same valley. Scarcity was never intended to confine you. It was meant to teach you to see beyond it. It carved patience into the bones, painted understanding into the gaze, softened the grip of judgment. It left behind a memory of hunger, not to wound but to give wisdom. That memory, rather than hardening into bitterness, has become a fountain of clarity. You were never meant to simply endure. You carry the blueprint for others to build upon. This cycle of deprivation ends here, because it cannot outlast the vision taking root in you. Old patterns dissolve where determination has taken hold. What once stole from you now gives way to creativity, foresight, and abundance that spills into lives connected to yours. The dry season was not a verdict. It was a rehearsal. Its time is over. The chapter of barely scraping by is giving way to a chapter of more than enough. Provision rises now, and it brings no hidden clause. There will be no need to barter integrity for it. No need to clutch or claw to keep it. It arrives through alignment, through timing, through quiet favor. Make your impact eternal. Join now and be a light in someone's darkness. And it brings rest with it. A moment is dawning where survival is replaced with stewardship, where paying dues gives way to building futures. The scaffolding of lack has already done its work. The foundation it left behind is unshakable. Deprivation was never your inheritance. Purpose is, provision is, and they are already approaching. Many stumble because they confuse motion for meaning, mistaking noise for progress, and wonder why fullness eludes them. There are those who stack riches, yet cannot quiet their minds, and others who collect titles, but never feel whole, because they grasped at the keys before finding the door they were meant to open. The world trains you to chase applause, possessions, and circles of influence, hoping fulfillment will appear somewhere along the chase. But the order was never meant to be written that way. Confusion attracts chaos, but clarity draws favor. Misaligned ambition can build towers that collapse under their own weight, but aligned intent builds something that endures. The sequence is not accidental. Meaning comes first, then momentum. Purpose plants the seed before the harvest arrives. Direction precedes the pathway. That is why doors once refused to move, not because ability was lacking, but because identity had not yet settled into its rightful place. Support does not fund vanity. It gathers around authenticity. When the hiding ceased, when the shrinking stopped, when the denial dissolved and the real work began, the landscape began to change. Not because of chance, but because intention finally matched design. True calling acts like gravity, pulling the necessary pieces toward itself. When steps align with vision, opportunities appear, resources surface, alliances form, not through force, but through resonance, that if your heart overflows with divine love, now is the moment to let it shine. Click the super thank you button on YouTube and give $50 or more to help carry God's light to others. Your gift will bless not only your life, but countless others. You are part of His sacred plan. Your kindness may be the answer to someone's prayer. Share your blessings and honor His kingdom. May His grace guide you always. There is no need to twist open locked gates. No need to fabricate approval or contort into something unrecognizable. What belongs to your path will recognize you without persuasion. This is why earlier attempts fell flat. They were aimed at propping up a self that had not yet emerged. But now the rhythm is different. Now the current carries you because you've learned to move with it, not against it. Focus remains critical. Distraction is a tempting thief, always whispering detours that glitter but lead nowhere. Easy routes will beckon, but they often cost more than they seem. Not in currency, but in essence. The task at hand is not to dazzle onlookers, but to leave a mark that matters. And marks that matter require patience, resilience, and steadfastness even when applause is absent. What you are crafting is not merely commerce, it is a conduit. Not just a project, but a pattern for others to follow. Every step taken in integrity opens new corridors of possibility. There's no need to chase what has already been assigned to you. The map is already imprinted within. The provisions arrive to meet the one who refuses to abandon the route. Protect this path. Do not dilute it for convenience. Do not distort it for fleeting approval. Do not trade it for momentary gain. The mission itself holds the value, and as you walk deeper into it, the doors swing open unbidden. The resources are not the prize. They are simply what flows to meet the need. This is why striving has its limits. Effort without alignment only exhausts. When steps match purpose, what is meant accelerates toward you. The next stage does not demand louder hustle, but sharper vision. Access is not earned only through labor, but through harmony with what was already written. So consider this your evidence. The task you've embraced is the very thing that summons the support you seek. The calling you've uncovered is what unlocks what once felt unreachable. And each moment of surrender to that deeper direction draws unseen help to your side. Do not dwell on what seems scarce. Center yourself in the reason you began. Do not fear the gap. Guard your lane, because as the assignment is honored, access follows, arriving in ways that are more than enough. Some hearts cannot yet carry what they ask for, and the evidence is in how quickly smaller blessings already compete for their attention. Many dream of fortune without realizing it can become a chain if received before they're strong enough to wear it lightly. What you long for has been held back, not out of denial, but out of protection. The deeper work has never been about increasing your account. It has been about fortifying your inner framework to hold what's coming without collapsing under it. Requests have risen from your lips, but the answer has not been no, only not now. Because what waits for you is vast, and vastness demands depth to sustain it. The kind of resources you are about to encounter require roots strong enough not to be ripped out by the winds of pride, greed, or fear. The delay is not punishment, it is precision. Not because you are unworthy, but because wisdom always weighs the cost before granting the gift. There are many who caught riches without readiness, and it hollowed them. Their joy became brittle, their relationships frayed, their sense of self distorted. They gained everything yet felt like nothing, because their hands reached further than their hearts could hold. What's intended for you is different. What's for you is not just to fill your hands, but to strengthen your spirit as you use it. Every silent season has been a lesson, quietly removing what could not go forward with you. It has been teaching you how to say no to what only looks good, but costs too much. How to keep walking even when the room stays empty. How to release the need for approval. How to recognize when compromise is disguised as opportunity. Every false layer has been stripped away to uncover what's real beneath. What's forming in you is not a momentary spark, but a steady flame. because what's coming must land in hands that know how to hold it and still let it go when called to. What waits for you was never meant to be flaunted, but to build, to heal, to open doors, to shelter others who have no voice yet. You are being shaped not just to gather, but to distribute. Not just to ascend, but to lift others in the process. The waiting has been a kiln, not a cage, refining your motives, sharpening your discernment, silencing your ego, softening your gaze. It has required fire, yes, but the fire was never sent to harm you, only to harden your resolve and make your intentions clear. Because when what you've been preparing for finally arrives, it needs to land on ground that won't crack beneath it. You have passed through the quiet tests and survived the empty corridors. That is why, even now, you are closer than you think. If it still seems delayed, understand that each day of waiting has been crafting a better version of you. The person who first prayed for this could not have handled the weight of what's about to be delivered. But now the season shifts. What has been withheld will find you, because now it can no longer unravel you. Now the resources will meet the readiness. Now the abundance will match the character. What once felt like resistance will reveal itself as protection, and what once felt like silence will roar like arrival. This is how it works: depth before display, foundation before flourish, integrity before increase. And now you carry both, the readiness to receive and the wisdom to release. There's a quiet power in you that was never meant to remain dormant. What's coming into your life is not arriving to rest in your palms like a trophy. It is arriving because you are meant to shape it into something greater. You are not merely a vessel of receiving. You are a force of making, of forging, of transforming raw materials into realities that others can stand on. This is why doubt has clung to you so fiercely, not simply to steal your happiness, but to weaken the instruments you carry. Because the moment your hands awaken to their purpose, they become a threat to everything that thrives in stagnation. Every whisper of unworthiness, every shadow of hesitation, every moment of paralysis was designed to distract you from remembering what is already etched into your nature. You were designed to build. The weight of your calling does not lie only in ideas, but in action. When your resolve and your craft begin to move in harmony, entire stories are rewritten, invisible walls collapse, stagnant cycles break open, dormant visions take shape. This is why the resistance has been relentless, because what is destined to come through you is vast enough to echo far beyond you. But now confidence is returning, not the brittle kind born of ego, but the quiet strength born of clarity. You are entering a stretch where everything you set in motion, when directed with integrity, will flourish. This is not naive hope. It is the unfolding of a blueprint already waiting. Every skill, every spark, every plan you've carried was never about mere survival. It has always been about creating lines of legacy. What you're being called to craft is more than income. It's infrastructure. Leadership is being drawn out of you. Vision is being sharpened. Creativity is being unleashed in ways that will not just benefit you, but uplift countless others. The resources that find their way to you now are not there to cushion you. They are there to construct. But the structures you raise must be guided, not guessed. Money without direction builds empty monuments. That is why wisdom and timing are arriving alongside provision, to ensure what you construct can weather what comes. This momentum is not fueled by hustle alone. It is fueled by intention. There are blueprints within you that no one else can replicate, ideas that will alter dynamics, initiatives that will outlast their origin. You were never meant to simply inherit the world as it is. You were meant to reimagine it. The intensity of the challenges you've endured is proof of what you carry, because what emerges through you is meant to endure long after you. So do not retreat. Do not dismiss what you're capable of. Do not wait for the perfect time, because the time is shaped by your choice to begin. Readiness has never required you to already know everything, only to trust that everything you need will meet you along the way. You have been positioned not only to answer problems, but to invent solutions for others to follow. What comes to you now is not scattered luck. It is a targeted response to the work you are meant to do. And as you move with focus, support will gather, partnerships will appear, and progress will quicken. Prepare yourself. It is time to craft. The strength you need has always been in you, waiting to be claimed. and the world is waiting for what only your hands can shape. There's a kind of presence that cannot be manufactured, no matter how much effort one pours into being noticed. Many are misled into believing that striving harder, shouting louder, or bending themselves into unnatural shapes is the only way to be chosen. But the truth runs deeper. What is truly meant for you arrives not because you demand it, but because it recognizes you before you even speak. The support tied to your purpose is not something you need to wrestle into existence. It emerges naturally when you walk in alignment, not when you chase approval. The right eyes will see what ordinary ones cannot. You will not have to lower your voice to sound like everyone else. You will not have to barter away your essence to belong. You will not have to sculpt yourself into something unrecognizable just to feel worthy of the room. Those who are destined to accompany you on this journey are already being prepared to meet you where you are, without you performing to earn their attention. There's a difference between being elevated by the world and being positioned by something greater. One demands repayment and drains you. The other sustains and strengthens you. You do not need to claw for a place among those who cannot hold what you carry. Stop trying to wedge yourself into spaces that cannot accommodate your vision. Stop measuring your worth by who claps and who does not. Some gatherings are too confined for the magnitude of what you're bringing. Some invitations are distractions disguised as validation. You were not shaped to blend into the backdrop. You were crafted to stand out with intention. The silence of past seasons was not rejection but redirection, keeping you hidden until the right hands and hearts were ready to receive what you offer. What lies ahead is not unlocked by charm or popularity. It opens through alignment with your assignment. The ones who are meant to join you already feel the pull of what you're building, even before they know your name. Behind the scenes, connections are forming, and the fabric of your next chapter is already being woven. These are not people looking to take advantage of your light. They are coming to strengthen it. They are not drawn to image, but to essence. Not impressed by surface, but moved by the truth you carry. These allies are different. They have no interest in spectacle, only in substance. They are waiting for clarity, not noise. And when your direction is set, your heart steady, and your motives clean, they will appear without you needing to chase what was always yours. This is why you've endured seasons of solitude. To learn the difference between being visible and being seen. To recognize that recognition that comes from alignment cannot be earned by performance. You do not need the entire world to understand you. You only need those destined to walk alongside you to recognize you when the moment comes. And they will. What is unfolding now is not happening because of your hustle, but because your presence calls it forth. So continue moving with integrity. Continue building quietly. Continue nurturing the vision even when no one is watching. Because soon someone will encounter what you've created and say, "This is exactly what we've been searching for. How can we contribute to what you're doing?" The right allies are closer than they seem. The right doors are already swinging open. The right provision is already finding its way toward you. Not because you demanded it, but because what's within you spoke louder than anything you could say. There comes a moment when you realize the weight you carry is not just yours to bear. It reaches forward into futures you will never personally see. What is being placed into your care now is not only for your benefit. It is meant to ripple outward, shaping lives far beyond your own. This is not simply about your rise. It is about rewriting the story for those who come after you. What flows into your hands next is more than resource. It is vision that stretches across generations. You are not just the recipient of this increase. You are the architect of a path your ancestors could not have imagined. You are becoming the hinge that turns an entire lineage from struggle toward strength, from fear toward freedom, from grasping to giving. You are being positioned as a pioneer, a bridge, a builder, someone whose choices and courage will open roads for others to walk upon. This is more than fulfilling your personal dreams. This is about planting something permanent that outlives applause. What rises through you now is not only a blessing, it is a responsibility. Every step forward is undoing the chains that kept generations before you confined to limitation. Doubt, lack, shame, scarcity. They stop here. The quiet sacrifices you make today, the inner battles you fight, the faith you hold onto in silence, these become shelter, provision, and wisdom for those who inherit what you establish. The prayers you whisper now create foundations that your descendants will stand on, perhaps without ever knowing the storms you endured to pour them. This is not about proving you are blessed. This is about demonstrating you can be trusted to carry more than yourself. You have shown that your motives are not hollow. You have demonstrated your vision is not self-centered. You have proven your integrity outweighs your ambition. That is why this season calls your name. Because what comes next is not just measured in gain, but in impact. You will not merely gather possessions. You will design sanctuaries of possibility. You will not simply collect wealth. You will fund movements that inspire others. You will not just build walls. You will open gateways where none existed before.